pride always be unparalleled. May our traditions live on and on. May our dreams be big, but our hearts even bigger. May we never be too busy to smile, too old to dance, or too tired to care. It's what makes us Texas, and it's what makes Pinnacle Bank happy to be here. May we always be part of your community, because we're not just a bank in Texas, we're Texas in a bank. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be.
All right, folks, and we're live here with Lady Panther basketball. We got Bailey Davis, Elise Jones, and Coach Amy Tennyson joining us here tonight.
We can't forget that we also have the pregame announcer and Taylor here doing the interview right now. I'm trying to coax him along for you guys. So we appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all joining us, taking some time out of your day. Welcome in. So, Coach, we'll start with you. With the way the season's been going, you're currently sitting in second in district behind Red Oak. But all in all, pretty successful right now, 24th in the state. From your opinion, how would you rate that things are going at this point in the season?
Really well. We're still polishing our execution and how things are going, and the kids they're taking coaching and practice, and we're getting better and better every day. And that's our goal every day, is just to get better. There's always something that we can improve on as coaches, as well as translate that into helping our kids get better and better.
Well, and Elise, last year, you got that playoff experience. How has that vaulted you into being the player that you are this year? I mean, I brought this up to a bunch of people. You're taking on people a foot taller than you and just dominating. So tell me how that's affected your game this year.
The experience I received last year was great. I think it definitely mentally and physically prepared me for this year, and it just made me a stronger and better player. And I also realized some of the competition from last year, and I got better at knowing what to do for better preparation for this year. So I know how to guard them, and I also got a little taller, so which helped me as well.
Well, and Bailey, it's basically the same question to you. I know outside sniper with those 3-point shots and the hustle on defense. Tell us how last year really motivated you to put in the work this summer.
Well, getting as far as we did in playoffs last year, it was awesome. So I've just worked really hard, especially in the off season since then, because we have an amazing group of girls, an amazing coaching staff, and I really believe that we can go even further this year.
Well, Coach Tennyson, with things that have been going on, and I'm not going to dive too much into the outside forces here, but what have you seen as a difference in the work ethic and the girls being able to get together in the gym to keep improving with maybe some of the restrictions that we've seen over this past year?
It's made us become more creative as coaches with some of the limitations of as far as number of bodies in a gym. We had those restrictions on us and the different things. I think we've had to get creative. I'm used to kind of mirror my practice after Billy Gillespie and have 40 guys in a gym and constant movement. And so we've had to tweak some things, knowing that we're limited at early on about how many kids we could have in the gym. And so we still pay attention to that. But we've had to be creative as coaches as far as how we do things. And so I think that's been our growth as a coaching staff, is how can we still challenge these kids, hold them accountable, perform at a high level. So we time and score every drill. They're competing. Maybe it's space restraints in the drills, but we find ways to intentionally put them at a disadvantage to improve. And these kids respond. They take coaching, and it's fun. It's been fun to see their progress through the year. And so we're just getting better and better.
Well, Bailey, let's go to that point. I know y'all get your drills timed and scored, just like Coach said. How does that help you get prepared for that in-game speed?
Well, I don't know. It just does help, but it's just a team thing. My team moves the ball really well, and the coaches design and call out the plays that they let us work on in practice. But my team like gets me the ball for the open shot. So it's a complete team thing.
Well, go ahead.
You're
After you.
good. All right. Well, Elise, staying on practice, when Coach Tennyson talks about the conformity and getting these drills, keeping it fast paced and be sure there's communication, stuff like that, how well does that transfer over to the game to where it's more of an easy, there's not a lot of drop off in game speed if you're practicing full speed all the time. When you go to play, it's just normal.
I think it translates pretty well. I think we've gotten much better at it because I feel like it's harder sometimes to go hard, especially some days are just harder than others, just in general. But I feel like we've definitely gotten better at it, and just communicating has gotten better. So it's translated better to the game. So just, hey, you're good, keep working hard. This encouragement has definitely gotten much better. So I feel like that helps translate to the game.
Well, Coach T, how does this impress you with these young ladies being so bought in to this program that this is what they expect from it?
It's exciting. It's really exciting. It makes my job a lot more fun because the kids want to go out and play at a high level. They have high expectations for themselves. And so as coaches, we continue to raise the level of play, and they'll continue to get better and better. They continue to constantly hit our targets. And we continue to be creative in how we're going to challenge them and make it tougher. I mean, we use weighted balls, we used oversized balls, time and score. We limit them in space. There's all kinds of things that we can do to intentionally challenge them and put them at disadvantages. And these kids just keep responding and getting better. And so as their coach, it's fun to see their growth.
Well, Elise, down to you real quick. It's going to be, how do you get that physicality at the start of a game when it's kind of hard this year to practice like that with all that bump, just bumping and stuff down the bottom? How do you get ready to be that physical during the game?
I honestly have just really tried to just go hard as I can in practice. So it's just easy to translate into the game, and also just get mentally prepared. And watching film also helps to know their kind of personnel from the other person and just kind of know some of their moves, so you can just try and get them out of position so they can't do the move or not as easily. So it helps to just do those kind of things.
Well, Coach, you've been missing one of your pieces in here in Middleton for the past couple of weeks, but your girls have not missed a beat, and the two ladies we have with us are part of that reasoning. Mm-hmm. Talk about, as a coach, when someone does go down and you have to find someone to pick up that slack, what you're looking for, and then how these girls and Katie Ward being another one, and some of the others that have stepped up and really shown that there is not a drop-off. We are not one person. We are a team.
It shows the depth to our team and to our program. Kiara's obviously had a tremendous career here at Midlothian and is going to continue to build on that. And so the depth, any night we've had a different leading scorer. And so it's hard for teams to game plan for us and really target one. And because we have that much depth and so many capable of having a great scoring night, we really have been taking advantage of that. Because like I said, we've had different scores: Katie, Sheridan, Bailey, Elise. Obviously, these kids have all led us different games in scoring and has been our leading scorer. And so for us to have that much depth, obviously, to our team, it's hard to game plan for us. If they try to intentionally take one or two away, then the other kids are stepping up. And we have isolation plays for every spot on the floor. We have different things that we can play small ball and spread people out. And maybe put the Elise in positions where she can take their bigs off the bounce. And so we have things that we have in our toolkit that we can use strategy-wise that's an advantage for us, that we could take advantage of some mismatches or things like that. And so really it's fun to coach this team because we have so much depth offensively and really defensively. These kids have really picked up on our defensive system. We can play a lot of different ways, and they're smart. We can change things on the fly, and never miss a beat. And so when you're capable of doing all that and putting that package together like that, we got an opportunity to do some special things.
Well, how hard is that as a coach to teach? And it might be something that you can't, to get a team that is as selfless as the girls you have, to where you say they're not afraid to distribute the ball and you're spreading the scoring around, and it's a very cohesive unit. I'm sure every coach tries, but how hard is it, and how lucky are you to have a group that at any given night, any of those girls can show up and they're not afraid to spread it out?
I think part of that is they have a lot of respect for each other. One, they know what they're going through and how hard they're working in our practices, in the weight room, in film. You know, they take coaching in film. We time and score a lot. We skills test them. And so they have a lot of respect because we'll post their skills test in the locker room. Hey, so-and-so's shooting. 35% is our target for our shooting skills test. And so we post it. And so the kids know they have some information in front of them, and they know, okay, she's a shooter. Cash Money, you know, they got nicknames for each other. And so it's fun because they start developing that respect. They know who's slashers. They understand their roles. They really buy into it. They understand that some game plans each game plan is different depending on who we're playing. And so depending on the personnel that we're going against, you know, who we're really who's the weak defender that we're going to attack that night. And so I think with our game planning and strategy in place, and then the skills test, and we spotlight each other a lot. So they have to catch their teammates doing something right. And it just builds that cohesiveness in team that we really try to focus on, and it's priority because it's the team that carries you to state championships.
Well, and Bailey, let's go with the toughness on defense. I mean, you're putting your body all over that court. I saw you dive for balls probably 7-8 times last game I was there. Just talk about how that inspires you to play that hard on offense when you're putting that kind of defensive effort in, and how y'all's team has really been feeding off that defensive effort.
Well, my team, I know that they're always busting their tails, so I try to always work my hardest and do everything I can for them. And it's a whole team thing. Like, I don't want to let them down, so I do my best and work my hardest because I know they're doing it for me and I want to do it back. And yeah.
Okay, well, Elise, I'm going to give you this one, okay? Who's the goofiest one on the bus during the trips? Who's back there doing TikToks?
I probably have to say Bailey Probst.
Oh, no.
There we go.
I have to say Bailey Probst.
But did they not get everybody fired up and a little bit loose before the games and stuff?
What you said? What's something that gets us fired up?
Doesn't Bailey and them doing something goofy in the back of the bus? How does that get y'all ready to go for the game, get loose, and just getting that vibe?
It gets us ready for the game. I'd say just to get a good laugh in before the game starts and just bring us together as a group. And we also do like some more little chants and things for the game that also gets us prepared and more ready. But she's just really fun, and it's really funny.
Is it true that's the only time that KD smiles during game day?
It's a lot on the bus ride. It's a lot of talking, and yeah, it's
Okay.
fun stuff that goes on.
Well, Coach Tennyson, give us a look ahead for what y'all got coming up this week, and then we'll get into Red Oak here in a minute. But I know y'all still got a couple games before we get back to that. What does it look like for the next few?
Right now I'm one game. I'm next game mentality, and all the prep and everything that we've been doing is Joshua tomorrow night. We don't overlook. I have a lot of respect for the head coaches in our district and the jobs that they do. So right now the biggest focus for me is making sure our game plan's solid. And we got an adjustment, or we know their personnel. They've got had a starter come back in. And so right now, Joshua's the only one on my radar. Friday, Ennis, Corsicana, I'm not quite sure. And then I know Red Oaks after that. So literally it's Joshua tomorrow night, and I'm just the next game mentality. My coaches do all the opponent scouts, and so they're always staying 2 games ahead of me. Coach Jackson and Coach Scales alternate scouts, and so it's their main responsibility to stay 2 games ahead of me. And then it frees me up to focus on us and making sure we're improving like we need to, and next game. And so that's kind of how we set things up on our staff. But those guys just alternate scouts, and they're always 2 to 3 games ahead of me.
Well, and Elise, let's talk about those assistant coaches. How important are they to y'all?
They're a huge part of our success. Coach Scales, he definitely does well breaking down the film, which prepares us for the games that we have, like Joshua and the other district games. And Coach Jackson, she's great. We practice against her JV team, and she's always there to allow us to scrimmage them, and just, we get them better. They help us for the next games in district, and they're a big part of our success as well, and I really appreciate them.
And Bailey, we need to get those stands filled up for these ladies' games around Ellis County. So why don't you give us your best speech and get these people out there?
Okay, so every high schooler's dream is to win state, but I truly believe that we can do it this year because we have so much talent, and state championships are rare. So the fans, they're going to want to see us make it there, make it happen. And yeah.
That was great. I think we need to get some of the Rocky soundtrack and play it behind it, and then we'll send it to you so you can play it on the screen before the games.
Well, plus, the more people there, they get excited and they start getting into it, and it gets us excited and pumped up, and it just makes us do better. We want to show everyone.
Awesome.
Well, we appreciate y'all jumping on with us and taking time out of your day to talk to us, give a little insight to the team. But we wish y'all the best of luck. Good luck against Joshua tomorrow night, and hopefully we can talk to you again here in a couple of weeks, maybe about a district championship. I don't know. What do you think, Taylor?
It's going to be one. Let's try it.
Sounds great to me.
But we, again, thank y'all so much, and we'll catch up with y'all again on a deep playoff run.
Yep.
All right.
All right, well, we're welcoming in the Palmer Lady Bull. I got a little tongue-tied there.
Yeah, you did.
The Palmer Lady Bulldogs head coach, Coach Sherliff, and then Parker Reeves. How are you guys doing this evening?
I'm great.
I'm doing well. Thanks for having us on tonight.
No problem.
Well, Parker, I can already tell that the energy is going to be awesome. So that was the biggest smile out of any player that we've had on. So I appreciate that. So I'll start with you. How do you feel like this year is going? And are you having a blast having to follow all these dang COVID rules?
Well, I feel like this year has been really good, and COVID-wise, I don't think it's affected basketball that much, though it has, affected our fans. The sport is still the same for us. It's still the game, and we play the game. Though we have to wear masks on the bench, but it's not that big of an inconvenience. It definitely, the rules outweigh my want to play the game. So I would wear a mask any day to be able to play basketball.
Well, Coach, isn't it great to have players like Parker here that are just wanting to be on the court, wanting to be together, wanting to represent their school?
Yeah, Parker's been a godsend this year. She's progressed, from where she was when she started for us in 7th grade till now. I'll tell you a funny story about Parker. She hates when I tell this story. We had a spring league. It was us and a couple other schools. And I asked Parker, hey, she had just finished her 7th grade year, I think. And Parker's level of what her answer was a little bit less what it is now. And we had a fundraising meeting at the same time. So I'm watching the girls play, and I can't coach them. And this gentleman came up to me, kind of annoyed, perturbed, confused. He goes, "What's this, Coach Shirtliff?" And I said, "Oh, this is our spring league." He goes, "Why isn't my daughter playing?" And I go, "Well, she told me she couldn't or wasn't going to play or something." And the very next day in athletics, I'll never forget, she walked right up to me, "Coach, I'll be at spring league practice from now on." So, and she hasn't missed a day since. I mean, that's been the greatest thing about her. She's just, I can call her and say, "Hey," text her or email them and say, "Hey, we're going to do an open gym tonight from 5 to 7. And we have some people in town that do a really good job with our kids. And I can't really do much with them. And they get a great workout. And she never misses, no matter what. If she's in town, she's there. She's at her summer workouts. It's just, and it's infectious, because she makes all the other girls want to be like her. So.
Well, Parker, I can only imagine what that conversation was like with your parents or with your dad after that. But it seems that it's led you down a path that you've enjoyed and that has been pretty instrumental in your life. Talk about the support of not only your parents, but Coach Shirtliff and the community to make playing basketball, even especially for Palmer, so much fun and such a good experience.
Well, my parents definitely play a big role in it. They're constantly like, if I want to go to a basketball camp, they'd be like, "Yeah, sure, we'll figure a way for you to go." Like summer workouts, I wasn't a big fan of at first, but I'm slowly getting more like, I like working out and I like doing basketball and sports, and they're really supportive of that. And the coaches are always, they will correct you on your mistakes, and Coach Shirtliff will actually they provide opportunities for you. They'll give you suggestions, like sometimes they do basketball camps in the summer, and they'll have open gyms in the summer too, and they're always communicating about that and creating opportunities for us to get better. So they've been a really fundamental, definitely helping us get better and giving us the opportunities to get where we want to be.
And,
Coach,
kind of –
go ahead.
Sorry, but she's actually gotten real close to one of our coaches, Coach Waddle. Coach Waddle's daughter is a volunteer coach for us. And, her and Kendall are like this. And, if Kendall says do this, you can see Parker trying to work on that. It's just, because Kendall played for me my first 2 years there, and she was probably one of the best players I've ever coached. And Parker's following that same path. And it's kind of a competition. Kendall sees like, "Oh my God, this girl's gonna be just as good as me, if not better." She may not tell her that, but
Yeah. Well, you never can tell them anything, right?
No.
But just how important is, you've got girls that are playing multiple sports down there, and how important is it having that great those assistants, your staff put together, and the bonds that they form with your players, Coach?
I'm blessed to have two great assistants at the high school level. I have two good junior high coaches. I could be not that I try to be mean or a jerk or whatever, but, I got Coach Odom, and Coach Waddle. They have done just a great job with the relationship building and, the skill development. Doesn't matter what the record is, they're always positive. But, I could be the grumpy old man. And I know that's me at times. I'm trying to be better at it. My wife gets on me for it, but just trying to be better. But having those two help me out and just be there for us. And Coach Oda was expecting a baby at the end of March, so it's kind of like she's dealing with that. But she hasn't missed. She's always there for the girls and always being like, "Okay, this is what he's saying. This is what he means," and supporting me. And it's just great to have it.
So you're not pulling any Bobby Knights, any chairs on the court. Is that the role that you're trying to play?
No, there's been no chair throwing. I'm probably going to shave my head so I can't pull my hair out, but maybe it's also to hide the gray. But it's just I try to be calmer. I'm calmer this year. I'll say that much.
And Parker, at least he's not like some of these female coaches that got heels on and put holes in the floor, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Parker, let's talk without the record. Let's just talk about how well y'all have actually done this year. Y'all been in a lot of games and just haven't been able to close this year. How happy are you with the improvement overall of the team so far?
Well, I definitely think since the beginning of the year, we've gotten a lot better and we've gotten used to playing with each other. So we know our strengths and weaknesses and who we can count on for rebounding, who we can count on to knock down a free throw or a three or make a drive in and make the layup. And so we really just, oh God, mine went blank, but oh jeez.
That's okay.
You're good.
Well, Coach, I mean, let's jump over to you real quick. I mean,
Sir.
you've got Villasenor, you've got Cisneros, you got Parker here, Riley, Emma Jones, all contributing on your team. And, you know, to me, you know, we've discussed this before. You're just looking at the growth of the players, not just on the court, but off the court.
Yes.
You know,
I mean,
how great is it to see this growth for a team that could reset Palmer women's basketball?
you know, these girls are not just athletes; they're student athletes. I mean, Riley Bonds and Emma Jones are our two seniors, and Emma's number 2 in the class. Riley's top 10. Both, I think Emma's decided on going to Texas A&M and getting a lot of scholarship aid, not athletic scholarship aid, but academic scholarships. And then Riley's going to, I want to say possibly TCU with a lot of, you know, they're both smart young women. I know they're both getting a lot of academic aid. And so, I mean, that's just, it's nice to see when you have girls that are not just good athletes, but they're also smart. And then, you know, it trickles down. You know, we got 2 juniors that are smart, you know, that do well in the classroom. In our sophomore class, all of them do well, and it's relaxing. And it's enjoyable that you don't get an email from a teacher saying, "Oh, so and so is a knucklehead in class," or, you know, these girls are doing the work, and we have girls that will volunteer to help others. So they, you know, like Parker's one or two. Parker,
top 3 for sure.
okay, top 3. You know, Parker's there. You know, Parker's there to help out. You know, that stuff. You know, this makes it easier as a coach. It's one less thing that I truly have to worry about at the varsity level. I don't have to worry about the girls, but then, you know, it's just to see the growth on the basketball side. You know, when people have gotten hurt or something, you know, we've had people step up. You know, Araceli Rodriguez is a prime candidate of it, and she's taken her role and like, okay, I play a little bit here, a little bit there, and all of a sudden she got thrown into the starting lineup. And I think the last 3 or 4 games she's been our leading scorer. And it doesn't look like she skipped a beat. You know, it's like, you know, it's great to see.
Well, Parker, what can you say about those seniors and Emma and Riley? What they're going to leave behind legacy-wise, and what they've meant to you under them and your growth?
Well, they're definitely on the team. They're definitely role models. Everyone looks up to them. They try to follow after them. Their attitudes have a big effect on the team. Luckily, they have positive attitudes and has a good influence on the rest of us. And they're always constantly making us improve. I mean, they're just 2 great seniors to have. They're not like crazy and don't want to do stuff, but they want to be there, and they're constantly making us better, striving to be our best. They're just really great people to have on the team. And I'm sad they're going to be leaving us next year. I don't know what we'll do without them, but we're going to figure it out.
Well, and Coach, you mentioned this a little bit earlier in the interview about the administration, the town. How great is it to play in a community where, despite anything, it doesn't matter, winning record, losing record, anything at all, that community support, that administration support is always there?
You know, that's one thing you can't, you know, Palmer may not have the nicest this or that, but, you know, something for what a size school we have great facilities. You know, Coach Waddle, the athletic director, has put in a lot of effort in helping us, give us everything that we need. You know, the one thing he told me when he was hired, he'll never tell you no, as long as you guys do the right thing. And he's never told us no. And that was always positive. And, you know, the administration, Mr. Warner, you know, was our principal. Mr. Stone, who's our assistant principal, Mr. Nowak, our superintendent, they're always supporting us, always want to know how the girls are doing. It doesn't matter what sport, you don't see many superintendents that come to a cross-country meet, or come to a basketball game or a football. You'll see them at a football game because, it's Texas and all that stuff. But, they come and they want to know what's going on. They can't go to everything, but, they know what's going on. And they're always they're supportive, and it's great. And it's awesome because, we have a great indoor facility that we can go lift weights and be spaced out. We don't have to be on top of each other like we were at our old place. We get our booster club is very supportive. They buy the girls basketball shoes. And it's great to have that support. And the parents are even better. And they're always there. Doesn't matter where. You always know that you'll have at least one parent there for most every kid we have, and you can't say that about a lot of teams and a lot of schools, and that's a blessing. I mean, they all may not agree with everything I do, but they're always there supporting me and supporting the girls. And no matter if they drive an hour or 2 hours, we had a game this year with no fans, and you don't know how many emails I got. Like, are you serious? We can't come to a game. It was live streamed and everything, but it was really, when I got those emails like saying we're upset that we can't come watch. That's this means so much. Whether the girls realize it now or they'll realize it in 20 years, that how much the support they've had.
Well, and Parker, what about you? I know y'all get a great student following besides just admin and parents. And what does that mean to you as a player here in the state of Texas?
Well, definitely having fans helps us with our energy on the court, helps us to play better, especially when we make a great play and we just hear our fans cheering in the stands and trying to pick us up. Even after we make a mistake, they're always constantly cheering us on and making us play better as a team. Definitely, I'm glad they come, because without them, the energy we have, we would not be able to have come as far as a team as we have, especially chemistry-wise and getting along on the court. Fans play a big role in how we perform in the games, yeah, for sure.
Well, Coach, you got a big game tomorrow against Eustis. Give us a rundown of what that team looks like and what you're expecting from your girls to improve. You just had a close game against Kemp, came up on a little short, but again, another tight game. What do the girls need to improve on from then to the tomorrow night to help get y'all get on the winning side of the basketball?
I think for tomorrow night, for us to get, to be in the game, be competitive, is we got to play a full 32 minutes. I know it's coach's talk, and I thought Friday night we played well defensively for the first half, but just didn't shoot the ball real well. But in the third quarter, we shot the ball real well, and just didn't finish the game off like we had hoped to. We didn't rebound, didn't hold on to the ball real well. Eustis presents a lot of problems. They got some quick guards, and they got some big girls, some big tall posts, some big thick, posts that they're a tough handle. Compared to our posts that are tall and lanky and long, they're just big girls, and you look at them, they're not going to move very well, but they move real well. Their footwork's well. Coach Tyndall's done a good job in her first year there. But for us to play well, we've got to cut down on our turnovers and hit shots and make our shots when presented to, and not just be. Sometimes this group is very unselfish, and sometimes I like Parker to shoot the ball, or Chloe or Araceli or Riley to shoot the ball when given the opportunity to. We got a girl, Bria Sadler, who came off the bench, who started for us the other night. She's going to start tomorrow night. It was all over the court. Good and bad. It's just, she's got to harness her energy. If we can do that, I think we'll be in the game. And I think, we were down 28-10 at the halftime last time to them, and we lost by 9 or 10. And we had the ball down 6 and missed a shot, and they come down and hit a 3. So it's stuff like that. Friday night, a bank 3 kind of deflated our sails a little bit. So we cut down on that stuff, and I think we'll be in the game, and then we can go from there.
So Parker, 30 points, 30 assists tomorrow night?
Hopefully that's the goal.
Well, we believe that you can do it, but we appreciate both of you guys jumping on with us, taking time out of your evening, and giving us a little insight to Palmer basketball. And so thank you so much. We appreciate it, and we wish y'all the best of luck. Hopefully we can have y'all again here in a few weeks.
All right, sounds good.
Yep.
So we'll thank y'all, and then we'll be talking to y'all later. Good luck.
May our pride always be unparalleled. May our traditions live on and on. May our dreams be big, but our hearts even bigger. May we never be too busy to smile, too old to dance, or too tired to care. It's what makes us Texas, and it's what makes Pinnacle Bank happy to be here. May we always be part of your community, because we're not just a bank in Texas, we're Texas at a bank. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be.
Hey, folks, we're here with Midlothian Panther men's basketball coach, Steve Middleton, the middleman. How you doing tonight, Coach?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing, man?
You know me, fat and sassy and ready to go. Because what does Coach say, Seth? When the leaves turn brown, it's time to get down. So it's that time of year. So, Coach, let's talk about your men's team and how they've been doing so far this year, in your opinion.
Really well. I've been pleased with my team, to be honest with you. We're tied for the district lead with Waco U at 4-1. The one loss coming in our first game at Ennis, and lost by 1 point on the last second. So and then we've been able to come back and win 4 strong games. We really been playing at a high level. Sometimes I very rarely take a loss well, but I think that loss to Ennis really refocused us and really kind of, to a certain degree, pissed us off, to be honest with you. And I really liked how my group has responded through that. And, so I through this crazy year with COVID, we've been able to hold our own and stay focused. And we're 13-5, and we got a real good shot, I think, at a district championship.
Well, Coach, talking about the weird year it's been, you've had guys shuffling in and out because of outside circumstances. But
Yes,
for your
sir.
team to stay resilient, and I know that Ennis loss is kind of an awakening per se, but still for your guys to fight, even not at 100%, and to keep going and to keep winning, and like I said, tied for first in district, that's got to be pretty impressive.
Very much so. One of the kids that we miss so much is Taylor Toby. He was out for a long stretch. He missed just about half the season with a high ankle sprain. He wanted to play so bad, he kept coming back too early. Then he hurt it in a game. So he really hurt, and for a while he missed a lot of time. Luke Reynolds has missed 4 or 5 different games, who's another important. In fact, Luke was out when we went to Ennis, along with Nathan Shepard. So I know everybody has their COVID stories. So, but you're right. It's been a blessing that different guys have shown up when we needed them at critical times. Cooper Wyckoff has played well. Gavin Crow, Nathan Shepard has stepped up at times. We got a pretty good nucleus and mix of kids to go along with, the Corbin Greens, Kelton Williams, and Ovi at Bigby. So I like our squad, and we just got to stay focused, stay humbled, and play hard.
Well, Coach, the guys have been playing inspired and really on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, that has really spurred some really good open looks for y'all, and a couple of potential slams by Kelton and Ovi and all them. But just talk about how that defense has really been feeding your offense this year.
Defense is a mindset, and it's a commitment that really has to be drilled and gone over and over, because all kids want to play offense and shoot the ball and that type of thing, and the scoring points is the glory of the game. Defense is the grimy part. It's the ugly essence of the game, and I'm a firm believer. Offense wins games, but defense wins championships. So you really got to get kids to buy into that philosophy. And I've been very pleased for the most part that has been the identity of this basketball team. And it says a lot about your group when each night they're committed to playing on that side of the ball. And our last 5 or 6 games, we've really been even the games we lost, like Alito and at Ennis, we gave up 40 points. We got to be a little bit. And now that we're playing that good defense, we finally start scoring off our defense to make our offense better. And that's where we're making the separation and the growth as a basketball team is we're playing a good defense, and then we're putting the offense with it. But we spend a lot of time on it, I tell you that, and it's the kids always ask every day they always want to see the practice plan, because they want to know if it's a defensive day or offensive day. That's a big thing for for young men. What we gonna do today, Coach? They don't ask me, but they always want to see one of the assistants. What we got on the schedule today, Coach? So it's the grimy part of the game, but they are bought into it. I will say that.
Well, Coach, in talking with other basketball coaches, it seems like a big thing that was missing this season, or especially early, was tournaments. Not only for the competition you see, but also for the bonding of getting out. Some of these teams go and stay places. The kids get to be together. And that's a part that was missing. But you guys kind of made up for it because you scheduled some pretty tough teams at the beginning. Talk about the lack of tournaments, what you saw difference-wise scheduling, and then also the benefit of getting that tougher schedule, those teams like McKinney in, and you said like Alito before you started district play. We do miss the tournaments. Let me not say that. Those are a critical part of the season, because you get to play 4 games and sometimes 3 days or maybe 4 days, and the time that you get the kids out of school, you get to eat together. And you travel, and
the tournaments we play in, the Arlington and the Mansfield tournaments, are big time events. You know, where you're gonna play some good teams, and that's extremely valuable and extremely fun, and definitely well worth it. But as soon as we found out we weren't going to have tournaments, my thought process immediately shift towards, all right, we got to have a challenge in non-district scheduling, you know. And so when McKinney popped up and said they wanted to play us, and Arlington Martin was another school. You know, we always played Grand Prairie. And then we had Mesquite Horn and Mesquite High School as well. All 6A schools. And then I was blessed. They wanted to play at my place, so I couldn't turn that down, you know. So, and it challenged us, you know. Mansfield Summit, we played them the second game of the year up in Mansfield, and we lost, but we learned a lot about ourselves. You know, it was a great game, and they are really, really good. But it helped us understand who and what we are, and you know, the true intensity of playing in the you know, North Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth area. You know, you got a really, really well coached basketball team, and it made us better.
Well, Coach, let's kind of go off this real quick, which is you built a program at Midlothian over the years, and you know, a lot of that's the players that have helped set the foundation, the Caleb Jordans, you know, ZK,
Yeah,
you know, Omari Bobbitt, not, you know, and there's a lot more, but those are some guys that kind of went under the radar while they were in high school, you know.
right.
And to get to see you go out this week and knock Madison from last year's class playing his first game, and you're there. It's that family atmosphere, and the guys know that you care. How important is that to you, and what the success that you've been able to bring to Midlothian?
You know, I care about my guys. That's bottom line. And Nike is a kid that, you know, 2 years ago probably couldn't stand me. You know, we went round and round about how things were going to be done at Midlothian, and to see him perform at the level he did Saturday was very pleasing to me, and it's so humble to you know, watch a kid not only get to extend his career and have it paid for. You know, he's on full scholarship, you know, and the impact that has on his family and his future is tremendous, just to play the game that he loves. So I do that for all my kids, you know, and any kid that's around here. Caleb, when he comes back, I've been to Dallas Baptist 2 years to see him play. Caden Archie, he came back, I think last year when he was at North Texas and in Frisco. Got a chance to go up there and see him play. All of that is a part of building a culture of winning, you know, that, you know, we as coaches ask a lot. I know I do. I ask a lot out of kids, and I demand a lot out of kids. And, you know, if we're not all in, how can we expect them to be all in? You know, the other night, Friday night, I didn't, you know, it wasn't in, I didn't want to, but Ennis and Waco were playing a game to see who was going to stay in first place down in Ennis. And you know, I had to tell my coaching staff, we got to go out and live scout. Why? Because you can't ask kids to be all in if you're not. You know, you can't ask kids to do the things that you're not willing to do. If you're asking them to touch every line in practice, to lift weights and give tremendous effort, and be committed in the spring, in the fall, the open gyms. You know, I expect all of that out of my kids. Well, I never want one of them kids to look at me, or a parent look at me and say, well, why didn't you go live scout? Ennis and Waco were playing down the road. You couldn't get off your butt and go scout? But yet you want my kid to come to open gyms in the spring 2 days a week. And, you know, you got to be, if you want your kids to be all in, you got to be all in.
Well, Coach,
go ahead.
You mentioned earlier just the hotbed now that is North Texas. And being here in Ellis County, you look across boys and girls, we've got some great teams. As a guy who's from the Northeast, the Mecca, the hotbed, original hotbed for basketball,
Yeah.
how have you seen basketball develop, not only in Ellis County, but North Texas? And where do you think it is at compared to the rest of the country?
I honestly think, and you know, for the longest, California, New York, and the DMV, they call it over in DC, Maryland, and Virginia, has always been known as hotbeds of basketball, where they produced a lot of talent. In my 7 years down here, I got to admit, I'll put North Texas basketball up against any of that right now with the amount of talent that's being produced in this area. It's really, really growing, and a lot of that has to do, you know, with people moving in from other states. But I also think the state of Texas is growing beyond just being a football state. You know, as a football state, for the longest, football held basketball down. You know, well, how do you do that? Well, you make sure that there's no coaching at the middle school level. You know, you make sure that middle school is a football factory, and all the coaches from football, all the basketball coaches are football coaches. Well, around this area, the I-20 corridor, a lot of school districts have changed that. You know, Duncanville, DeSoto started that, and Mansfield's coming up with that they are allowing basketball to be its own entity, that we're going to supply middle school coaches to start developing kids at a younger age, because we're a skilled sport. The more you touch the ball, the better off you are. Bottom line. That's just the truth about our beautiful game. It is a skilled sport. So the more kids are shooting and practicing their skills, the better the product is going to be. Now, also you add into that is AAU, you know, the club scene. You know, Texas was long dragging behind the rest of the country with the development of AAU basketball, you know. And now that kids have access to some quality AAU programs that they could play in the spring and in the fall, that has really developed this area tremendously. So all of those things combined is just growing the game by leaps and bounds in this area, and allowing kids to really, really develop. And I know, you know, this is kind of a dirty word sometimes in school systems, but when you allow kids to specialize, focus, you know, and I'm one, see, this splits me up because I played all sports. I didn't grow up and play just basketball. I played baseball, I played football, I loved it all. And there is a lot of value in that, you know, in playing different sports. But I wasn't forced to do any of that. You know, I didn't play football or basketball or baseball because I couldn't, or somebody was forcing me to do it. You know, I just love to play. And I think that opportunity for allowing kids to make choices and freedom of I think that's what's happening in North Texas right now, just the freedom for kids to do as they please, as they would like, you know.
Well, you know, I mean, we've got a couple of girls over there in Midlothian right now that have gone on to do triple jump from basketball, stuff like that, that's going to get them an education down the road. And even Corbin Green, your starting center, is currently throwing over 91 on the baseball mound right now. Good luck to him this coming couple of weeks.
And, you know, and right now, I think Corbin Green's player of the year in the district.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know anybody playing any better than, you know, he didn't have a very good game at Ennis, but since then, wow, he's been on a tear, you know, really a dominant force in our district right now, and hopefully he can continue that. And Corbin does both, you know what I'm saying? He's at every practice of mine, open gyms, and then he does his baseball as well. He makes no excuses. He skips nothing. You know, he's committed. You know, he does it the right way. I never have to yell at him about, well, why you wasn't at practice. He communicates when he's got a miss, and he is the development and embodiment of a dual athlete, because a dual athlete at the 5A 6A level in North Texas, guys, that ain't easy no more.
No.
You got to be special to do that, and he's one of the guys that is able to pull that off. So you got to give him kudos and give him a lot of credit for sticking with it and really just being a model type of how you get this done and playing two sports.
Well, and let's talk about another superior athlete, and that would be your daughter, Kiera. Yeah. And, Seth, we talked about this before, COVID's got a lot of bad stories, but one of the great stories this year was on senior night for the Lady Panthers. Coach Midlothian here got to coach his daughter senior year. And, Coach, what was that experience like for you?
Absolutely unbelievable. I believe it was Mansfield we played on senior night. And the funny thing about that game is it was my third game because we had played Highland Park and Wiley East, and it was the third game. And Mansfield had just beaten Mansfield Legacy, who beat us our first game. Mansfield Legacy was the first game of Kiera's senior year, and they got us good. So, and then Mansfield High beat Mansfield Legacy, so we've kind of felt like, all right, if we could beat Mansfield, that'll let us know we're pretty good. And it was senior night, and the opportunity to coach baby girl was just special. And I'll never forget. We were down and we were struggling, and she hit a 3 to end the third quarter, and then 2 more threes in the fourth quarter to open the game up, and really showed herself. And I remember when she hit the last 3, I gave her a high five as she was coming off the court. And that feeling will always remain with me all the way through. And she's real excited about the future in Tulane. And the funny thing, y'all, going over that, she got her scholarship right in the middle of COVID. Mm-hmm. It was we were on lockdown. Coaches couldn't get out, so we were doing these Zoom calls and all that kind of stuff. And I remember how Tulane just swept her off her feet, and she had a lot of other schools calling and talking to her, but it was something about that program when they called. And just to back it up with you, when she got hurt as a junior, I'll never forget it. They were playing over in Burleson Centennial in a tournament. That was the day she got hurt, and Coach Fry was at that game when she got injured. And so the next day, he called me, and boy, I needed that call too. We needed it, and he said, "Listen, I want to tell you something. We like Kiera, and we're going to recruit her because we've had." He said something number like, out of 15 girls on their team, like 7 or 8 of them have torn ACLs and come back to play. So we ain't even worried about that. We want you to know we're going to be right there with her. And that just stuck with me and her all the way through. And it was right in the middle of the pandemic when they finally offered her. And when they offered her, usually, sometimes kids take offers and they post them and wait for another offer. And, you start watching Twitter these days, kids got 87 offers. Well, you can only go to one school. so at some point you got to make a decision, So when they got down to it, when they started talking full scholarship, that's a different deal now. Let's, you full scholarship to Tulane. Well, what else could we be waiting on?
Exactly.
I mean, I guess Duke, something like that. But, it was a no-brainer at that point. And that's what I impress upon kids is don't be so enamored with the offers. And, especially when you're playing other sports as well, like an offer, especially if it's a full scholarship. You know, you better jump on board. And they're talking about they're paying for your full school. That don't happen a lot. You know, there's not a lot of that. You know, in the game, especially in basketball, a good offer. So we took it, and she took it, and God has been good. And she's looking, you know, she hyperextended her left knee during the Lake Ridge game. And the funny thing about that, she had 13 points in a quarter and a half. She was killing them, had 4 made threes, and just a freaky kind of accident. So she's been out 5-6 weeks now, and looking forward to coming back. She should start practicing this week, and looking forward to playing about 5 or 6 games to end this season and into playoffs.
Well, there we go. Coach, I know how big of a heart you have for the game of basketball. I know how big of a heart you have for the kids in your program, and not just the kids in your program, but the kids around Ellis County, because I know you help out a lot of them. And we can just wish the best for you and the Panthers as y'all continue on down this path to hopefully a district championship, and maybe we can get you to come on with us another time.
Oh, I would love to, and that's our focus. We want to win one, and we got a chance. That's all you can hope for. We got a great group of kids, just a great group of kids, but I'm really, really enjoying coaching them.
May our pride always be unparalleled. May our traditions live on and on. May our dreams be big, but our hearts even bigger. May we never be too busy to smile, too old to dance, or too tired to care. It's what makes us Texas, and it's what makes Pinnacle Bank happy to be here. May we always be part of your community, because we're not just a bank in Texas, we're Texas in a bank. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be.
All right, so we are going to welcome in the head coach of the Waxahachie Lady Indians. I'm going to say Coach Z, but it's Coach Z, correct?
That is correct. Good job.
All right. Got Coach Z, and then we got 4-year letter in Maya Williams. How are you doing, Miss Williams?
I'm doing great.
Well, don't forget, 2 years all district and last year's team MVP, Maya Williams. So we got to give her a props.
So we're talking with a legend. So you are a legend for Waxahachie Lady Indians basketball.
Yeah, you can say something like that.
Okay.
Now, is that why Coach is calling you grandma?
No, she called me that because she says I'm an old lady.
Hey, it's okay, because you're an old lady with class and basketball skills, right?
Hey, she's not telling you all of it.
Okay.
I call her old lady because, you know, when you go to the rec and those people that have that old school game,
yes,
they're very precise and methodical. And the next thing you know, they didn't drop 20, 30 points on you. And you're like, how did that happen? So that is really props when I call her grandma, because she's very meticulous and specific in how she plays it. And next thing you know, she didn't drop 20 points on you. You're like, when did that happen? You know, so it's all love when I call her grandma.
I feel like it reminds me of when I would shoot hoops with my grandfather.
Yeah.
And there's no drive, there's no quick movements, but I bet you he could outshoot you at the free throw line or anything. And you're like, how are you making all these shots?
Yes, fundamentally sound. And
so, well, speaking of fundamentally sound, Coach Z, why don't you go ahead and start us off with an update on the team?
Okay.
You guys have 2 district wins so far.
Yes.
5 on the year, so you've already eclipsed both totals from last year.
Yes.
So we're moving in the right direction.
Hey, moving up
in the right direction. Talk to us, though, through your mind. Is this kind of where you thought you would be? Have you seen some good progress that's leading these ladies as they continue forward rebuilding this program?
Yeah. So, you know, in terms of where our win total is, I definitely thought we've had some games that we were right there in, and we didn't know how to finish them. As far as competitiveness, we are exactly where I thought we would be. I've been very proud of my girls. I think, honestly, there's only been 3 games to me where I feel like we look back and we say, hey, you know, we really didn't get off the bus on this game, and that happens. But out of all the rest of them, we've been in the games. We've had opportunities to win the game. And so as a coach, all you can ever ask for is for your kids to compete and give you a shot to win it down the road. So I think they have definitely done that this season.
Well, and Maya, let's talk about amplify what Coach talked about there, okay? A lot of your games are 4-point losses throughout the season. Y'all have been right there, like she mentioned. What do you think this year's team has done to reach that next level? Because y'all are going up against some tough teams.
I just this year, everybody's we're more in tune with each other. Everybody likes each other on the team this year, so everybody's just trying to get focused and all trying to get on one goal, and that's try to win every game.
Well, Coach Z, do you attribute some of the growth as far as those close games and finishing to maybe some of the youth you do have on the team? And the lack of maybe varsity experience by some of the ladies, not Maya, but younger ladies on the team.
Yeah, I do, hands down. I tell the kids a lot, when it comes down to those games where you're 4 points or less, it's, hey, somebody go make a basketball play. Somebody go get it done. And for us, like you said, we play really good teams and they're very well coached and they do their homework. They know that at the end of the game, the ball's going to be in Maya's hands. And right now, we just have ladies that don't necessarily have the confidence right now to go make that play. And it's a learning experience and them understanding that as a coaching staff, we have the confidence in them. But I can't believe something that you don't believe first. And so I think that that's the biggest thing is with that youth and that lack of basketball experience, especially on that varsity level, them having the confidence to go and make those plays. And now, going into the second round of district, I think they know now we've played with everybody. And I think that they will have that confidence to go now and go make those plays.
Well, Maya, going into your senior year, we talked about your accolades, but being the leader of the team, is that responsibility, especially late in the game, something that you enjoy and you relish of wanting that responsibility? And how have you taken on that leadership role, being the example for some of these younger girls behind you?
Yeah, I like being the leader. It's been a challenging year because I'm having to be more vocal and everything. So, but yeah, I like having the challenge of having to put the team on my back.
Well, Coach, let's go back to your opinion of mine right now, because when that other coach is on the other side of the line and they're screaming her number and saying she's going to get it, okay, but to see this young lady step up the way that she has responded, the way she's become more of a vocal leader, the way she's just inspired some of these underclassmen. How proud of you of her?
Yeah. When I first got here, Maya, if I asked her a question, she kind of just looked at me, not sure if I really wanted to answer. I think she wasn't really used to maybe a coach actually valuing the opinions that she gave. And I feel like as a coach, we're in a coaching box for a reason. We're not on the floor. So sometimes our perspective is not the same as someone on the floor. And I know I can go to Maya and say, hey, are you seeing something different? How is the team going? Are we gelling together? Is there something we're missing? Just about a week and a half ago, we had a meeting with all the girls and we said, hey, what as coaches can we do to help you guys? And Maya was very vocal in that meeting. So you always want senior leadership. And I feel like for Maya in previous years that she's been on varsity, senior leadership looked a little different. And I think that she's definitely setting a good foundation for the younger kids on how to be a vocal leader, but also how to back it up every day in practice and bust your butt and encourage. And Maya will be the first one to look for another player. And it's amazing that, you have a kid that can score really at will, but also can lead your team in assists because she's actively always looking to get somebody else involved. So it's just been a blessing to have a player like that when you inherit a program that never questioned what I asked her to do. She always did it, never disrespectful. never, challenged me in ways that was in a way that I didn't need to be challenged, because I think coaches need to be challenged as well, So I'm just very grateful for her. I really am. And I'm very grateful to see the maturity that she has shown and just being more vocal, because at first she wasn't like that. And now it's awesome to see her really grow.
Well, and Maya, being the cornerstone of this new era of women's basketball here in Waxahachie, and being that coach on the floor, how great is it to see some of these young ladies stepping up that, you've been around for a while and you've helped encourage them?
It's great to see some of my teammates be comfortable and get more they're more comfortable trying to attack, trying to be better. They're trying to just help the team. Because last year someone was scared. It was the first year, but now they're coming into their own skin and ready to play.
Well, Maya, I want to know from a player's perspective, because like Coach Z said, there's all different types of coaches. And it seems very rarely that you'll get a coach that, and usually they're pretty good, they get in there and value the opinion of the players. Coming from you, what's it like when Coach Z comes in and says, hey, girls, what can we do better? Showing interest to get the opinions of the players, even though they control the lineups, they could control it all, but to kind of set that pride aside and say, guys, what can we do better, and learn from the players?
It just shows that they care about us as a whole, and that we run as one. So we're really a family.
And that's, Coach Z, is that not what you want as a basketball program, is to have that family environment? And it seems like, in the couple of times that Seth and I both talked to you, that it just keeps building. How proud of you of that are you?
Yeah, when I took the job here at Waxahachie, one of the main things that I told the panel, and especially Coach Reed, is that I operate as a family. Everything is based off of relationships. And one of the things that I feel like has allowed me to be in this place right now, even being able to talk to y'all, is the great relationships I had with my coaches and previous people that I've worked with. So I just wanted these girls to know that it's bigger than basketball, and that I'm pouring into them for what they're going to be outside of basketball. And success looks different ways. It's not always about wins and losses. So when I see young ladies like Maya who have found their voice and their confidence outside of basketball, I know I'm doing my job. And so I'm just glad to hear that. And for her to say, we run as one, that's our motto. And I want them to always feel like it's family. When she moves on and graduates and goes wherever, I want to go watch her play and yell and scream and cheer for her with my own family, because she's always going to be one of my kids.
Well, have you found it difficult in the times we are with the social distancing and stuff to have that close team atmosphere like in previous seasons, or have y'all found a way around it and actually found new innovative ways to come closer as a team?
We've been very blessed to not have to stop playing with any kind of quarantine for COVID. So that's been really nice that it's been able to build that camaraderie. But one of the things like we talked about is the team chemistry in the building you have when you go on tournaments. And we didn't get to have that this year. And so, we try to find ways. We do a Christmas party. And so they do Secret Santa, but even that looked different this year, so it has been very challenging this year. But I think we've done the best that we can in the situation that we are in to make sure they still know we're family. So, hey, come in the office and talk with our mask on, or, but it's still, I guess you can show love in many ways without actually having to, go and give hugs. So we've tried to find ways, but it is different this year, hands down.
Well, and Maya, what does the future hold for you? What are your expectations after this season?
Well, I'm going off to college and playing college basketball.
Have you already committed?
No, not yet.
Okay. Well, you're going to let us know right up front when you do, right?
Yes.
All right.
Sure.
Well, Coach Z, before we let you guys go, and I know with Waxahachie, there's the restrictions on coming to watch and getting in the gym. But what's the outlook and the short look ahead for the games coming up And maybe what are some ways that the fans could get involved or watch even with the limited capacity?
Yeah. So one thing that has changed since our previous interview is we do have seating open. It has been an increase. So tickets are sold to the general public now for both the girls' games and the guys' games. So people can go and see. Don't hold me to it, but I want to say it's 40% capacity now. So that we are giving seats out now for general public. So that does help one way. The second way is we do the live feed for home games. So we will be playing home on Wednesday against DeSoto, which will be a tough game for sure. And then we will be doing a makeup game on Thursday night. That's also a home game against Waco High. That game was postponed this past Friday. After that, we will have some more updated home games. I will tell people the best way too is to follow us on Twitter at Hatchie Hoops. So please follow our Twitter page because we post about the live feeds when we do have home games. I'm a woman of God, so I'm always going to say you can pray for us if you can't do anything else. So I want to throw that in there too. We are always soliciting for prayers to keep our girls safe and that we can finish this season COVID-free with everyone. That's definitely a huge thing. And then outside of that is just really, you know, when you see our girls out and about, let them know you support them. That's huge. Our coaching staff, let us know you support us. It's so much bigger than wins and losses. Trust and believe if we could win every game, we would win every game. We're not intentionally losing. So if you could just let us know, hey, we see your growth. We support you. We are there with you guys, and we love to see the games. I think if people have watched us play this year, we definitely play a different style of game than what we have played in the years past. It's very exciting and fun. We're trying to be like our boys on the fast break side. So, you know, we're trying to do things to grow the game for the girls' side for sure.
Well, we believe that you'll get there, Coach. And
Thank you.
We'll do what we can to support.
Thank you.
And we'll definitely throw prayers your way, support you on that end as well.
Thanks.
All ready?
Yep.
We want to welcome in Waxahachie Preparatory Ladies Basketball head coach Maria Stewart and Bailey Fletcher. How are you guys doing?
We're good.
Good. We appreciate you jumping on with us. And I want to say you're our second private school we've ever had. No, the first private school we've ever had. And so congratulations. I'll mail you the award.
Yes.
And so, but no, thank y'all so much for joining us. And Coach Stewart, we'll start with you. Just giving a little rundown of the team and the season, and then we'll get a little more in depth. But with everything going on in the outside world, how do you think that your season would be going so far?
You know, it's been an interesting year for sure. We're doing our best, trying to, get games here and there if one gets canceled for, COVID reasons or not. So it's been interesting, and we don't have the players, the numbers that we did last year, just because some, don't want to play because COVID. So, we're working with a much smaller team this year, but I think we're doing good for the year that we're having right now. So it'll be interesting to see how we're about to start districts. So we'll see how we pan out.
I mean, Coach, you're 2-3. Things aren't that bad. I mean, we're doing pretty good here, considering, it's kind of hard.
Yeah.
But Bailey, let's talk about having that smaller team. Okay. Does it make it a little bit easier with the social distance and everything to get to have a team bond?
Not really. We only had 8, and that's our big numbers. And so this year it's not really different, but we're just missing players, so it's just more running for us.
Gotcha.
Well, Coach Stewart, when you're dealing with smaller numbers, how important is not only conditioning, but being sure that the girls, because I'm sure your rotations are all off.
Sorry, we got the train going through Hatchie right now.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not the loudest speaker either.
No, he's pretty quiet.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Oh.
I got to remember where I started.
Yeah.
It's a good thing we have editing software. So, Coach Stewart, you're dealing with smaller roster, and I'm sure conditioning will be an issue, and I'm sure rotations are off. But from a coach's standpoint, is it then a more of a point of emphasis for your team to put pressure on other teams if their rosters are just as small, or are you having to really lean on some girls to step up to kind of take the slack off where you may have some more depth in years past?
It's kind of a mixture of all of it. Definitely we are having to get in better shape. When you only have one sub, you have to be able to play all 4 quarters to the max. We're coming up against bigger teams that than we had, and we played a team that had 10 the other day. When you only have 6, it does make it tough because they've got the numbers to sub in and out. So it's us just learning how to play a full 4 quarters instead of being able to get the relief that they used to get. So that's kind of been a little bit different. So conditioning has been huge. Not that they really like it, but yes, so that's been huge. And then some other players have had to step up and play parts that they probably wouldn't have never played before. So.
Well, and Bailey, by that look on your face just a minute ago, I imagine you're really liking those wall sits.
Yes. They're really
okay. Well, let's talk about you for a second. I mean, you're averaging 21 points a game. I mean, is that correct, Coach?
Yes, it is. I don't think she knew that, though.
I did not know
okay. And 12 rebounds a game. You're averaging a double-double. So how does that make you feel to finally, get that little bit of knowledge there?
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Okay.
I don't think the coach wanted you to tell her.
Well, she shouldn't have texted me then.
No, you're good.
Okay. But I mean, what has gone into that? And do you feel like you've been just playing through the roof of the gym so far, or are there better things to come yet?
Oh, there's definitely better things to come yet.
Okay.
It's a good answer.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, Coach, and one thing maybe that I kind of want to know from you is when you're dealing with private school basketball, I'm sure there's a bunch of misconceptions and people think just because it's smaller that maybe the competition's not there. But from your experience and coaching at this level, what are some things maybe that people don't realize that there actually is great competition there, and you are dealing with smaller numbers, but you may actually see some pretty athletic girls out there on the court?
Oh, yes, for sure. Actually, I think sometimes they might have a better chance for some of the girls to be more stand out in a smaller school because they get more playing time. So, in a smaller school, there's also the camaraderie that comes a little bit more with the smaller numbers because you got to depend on each other. You got to know each other to be able to produce the scores that you need. With the bigger school, you typically you get to choose, the starting 5, and then you get a couple other ones that you can rely on. But with us, you have to make it work with what you have. And with, I don't know, like we're still able to do, we play some good teams.
Yeah.
Some tough teams. And I'm actually surprised sometimes when we play some of the teams, I'm like, where do they get these kids? Some of the teams that we play, I mean, they've got some pretty tough kids. Our biggest competition last year was Weatherford, their school there. And I mean, they had some awesome players on their team that made it tough for us to come up against.
Well, and Bailey, when you are playing some of these teams like this, how important is it just to keep the possession? Not having turnovers and stuff.
Especially with a small team, it is very important because we get tired easily, or we can't run as much because we don't have like subs, and so it's more tiring on us. And we just need to keep the possession because they are really good scorers and they can outscore us.
Well, I guess my question then, because I can't imagine having to deal with 6 kids due to other circumstances. So when you're on the defensive side of the ball, a lot of teams are blow and go. So are you really working across the half court like man-to-man up close, controlling the ball, controlling the tempo, or what are you trying to do on the defensive end?
So we kind of play. So last year we were able to press because we had a little few more numbers. This year we're not able to do that because I need to conserve the energy. But we do a sort of a half court press in order to get our sometimes that spark that we need. We do that like a half court press. And then obviously when you get tired, you got to kind of come off of that and go. Most people go into zone. So, and that's kind of what we do. We don't really do a whole lot of man-to-man unless it's a closer game. So it kind of depends on like what they're playing, what we're playing up against.
Well, and Bailey, you know, the question I have for you is when you're playing that press up top, right? How are you matching up with those young ladies? I mean, you and your teammates. How do you feel like your defense has been there this year?
I feel like our defense is good most of the time. Sometimes we forget to run the defense and then we just let them go past us. But normally we do pretty good.
Okay. And coach, and I've coached girls and, you know, rec and everything else before. And is it not the hardest thing? You ask the girls to talk on the court and they won't do it, but they'll talk the rest of the time?
For sure.
And so, well, Coach, kind of give us a little, you said district's about to start. Give us a little insight in your upcoming schedule, assuming everything stays the same, and what kind of maybe the 2-week look ahead looks like for Waxahachie Prep.
So our district's a lot smaller this year. They had a lot of teams not make, obviously, due to COVID. So usually we're playing more games. However, this year we're only 4 weeks. There's 4 teams. There's 4 teams in our district this year. Usually there's 6, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, there's 2 teams that didn't play this year. So we have a game every Tuesday, Friday for the next couple weeks playing those other teams. So we play every team twice. So I guess we're kind of looking forward to that. Friday, like I said, starts our district. So from here on out, every game counts.
Well, and you know, these preseason games that you had, this 2-3 record, you know, Bailey, how has that gotten you prepared to get ready for this district run?
Well, on the preseason games, we normally play bigger schools than us, and they normally have more skill than us, so it helps us be prepared for district and be able to play at a higher level.
Okay. Well, awesome. Well, I guess before we let you guys go, and I'm not real sure on the rules, but is the gym open for fans to come watch?
It is. We are at 50% capacity. So as long as we're not over that, then fans can come and watch.
Okay.
Nice.
Right. And then I guess before, if you want to get it out there, do you have to buy a ticket when you get there, just show up, or is it online, or?
It's kind of both. It's online, and then you can do it at the door as long, like I said, but you're kind of taking a chance with at the door if we're at 50% capacity. So.
Gotcha. Well, and Bailey, what would you tell all those people out there that are fans of y'all's why they should be coming out this season and watching y'all?
We're gonna win. We're gonna show up and make a good game and
take district.
Yeah.
That's all right. That's perfect.
So, well, we appreciate both of you guys jumping on with us, trying to shine a light on the Waxahachie Preparatory and everything y'all got going there. And so we thank y'all so much. And hopefully we can have y'all on again in a couple of weeks with a playoff berth after this district run.
That would be excellent.
So, well, the best of luck to both of you. Thank you, Coach Stewart. Thank you, Bailey. Best of luck, and we'll talk to you later on down the road.
All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.